Oh, hello there. Let's figure out what we're going to get up to today, hey? Had some things we left from ourselves, for ourselves. Adjust that a little. Apparently our intro ad break was slow, but that's all right. Give people time to filter in. So, we'll get everything up and running while that runs. I think we're good. I need to make myself a to-do note. All right. So we need to think about look events. That's kind of the next thing that we want to get running before we segue over to figuring out what we want to do for like an admin sort of panel here. Don't know if I want to do that remotely. Probably is the answer to that. But I think we're going to want a lot of like logging about that sort of thing. We also need the ability to oh my gosh. We need the ability to do things like reloading the modules, right? They support the idea of being able to reload their backing data, but we do need to hook that up to something. And I don't know what I want to do for that just yet. The simplest solution would be like an admin login. But that would require us to kind of split the behavior. In some way, shape, or form. Because right now the WebSocket connection only is hooked up to a client handler, which binds to a character, etc., etc. So I have to kind of think about that. But for now, let's think about looking. The look command. Currently, it just looks at yourself, which is, you know, fine and dandy for a test placeholder sort of thing. But we are pretty sure we want it to run through the state machine so that different states can respond differently. So we have no event for it just yet. Can add that. Um, and this, if we put kind of everything into the look event, because we have a couple different cases here. The default look should basically get you information about the room you're in. So it gets you your description, etc. to figure out how we want to handle the idea of getting the verbose description out. What do we want to do about that? So that's a question. But for now, let's just get look that returns the description, but also other players. And currently, the only thing that knows the state of a room is the map. But map imports character, which kind of led us to our idea of getting synchronous and asynchronous events both running through the state machine, the event system specifically. Let's go look at our events. In-game manager here. So we have the run action queue and we have handle event. And right now, this should be wired up. It's not telling me, but this should be wired up in our run. Or actually listen for events. Yeah. Synchronous actions get added. Async get handled. So that should all run through the same system. So here's the problem. Right now, only one thing can register to handle an event. So you'd have to either split this and have like a room look and a character look, which we could do. Or the map would have to manage sending out looks for all the characters too, which I don't think I like the idea of. That seems kind of weird. I'm quite happy for it to tell us what is in the room. The other thing we could do is hook up. Well, we'd still need to know about a character type if we were to hook this to the event system. So that wouldn't really work. Can't do circular imports. So everything kind of has to live inside of game events. And we have a look event here. We have a move event here that we did add in, which is what the current moving is running off of. So we would need to either allow multiple things, but okay, so if we allow multiple things to handle an event, like let's say look, order is not guaranteed, and that gets messy, right? We could async off a look event, have map pick it up, return us the data. But that also, we don't have any provisions in here for data to be returned. We would need to add more to the message bus probably, or something like that, right? The other thing we could do is skip this handle event and fire off async things into the message bus. That gets a little bit messy because then character manager has to have an awaiter sort of thing, right? Or we have to open a channel and listen for a response on it. There's a number of things we could do about that. The other thing we could do is say that you need to execute this function as part of resolving this event, and then put like a callback inside of there that notifies us or something like that. I used to love mud suds. Awesome. It's been a long time since I really played them actively, but it seemed like a fun project, so here we are. The other thing we could do is we could split this off and say that an async action is a different type of an action. I don't really like that, though. I guess if character... If character manager or if map just fires off two character things on a look, like the local description, then the character could then handle, and then it could also include, you know, who's in the room, and then the character could deal with that. But I fear that we're kicking this circular import kind of footgun waiting to happen down the trail, right? And we could fire things back in as async actions and remove the knowledge of character and deal only with like IDs or something. And maybe that's the nicest way. Because I've never been super in love with the way map handles this. It was just the fastest way, easiest way to get an idea together as to what we wanted to do, right? Let me see here. In move, so currently character leave tile, it's car. And then we call things on character, but that was just sort of we need to get rid of that anyway. And this might be the right time to do that in preparation for this sort of an idea. Occupants on a tile right now is a list of characters, but it doesn't need to be. And I'm trying to think how this fits into having NPCs as well, because they're going to need to be occupants of a room, right? and they might be a different thing. Theoretically, they should still be a character object, but that's just a theory. When we get there, we may find that they really warrant a different approach. But if these are just UUIDs, and if we fire async events back that say, hey, notify this ID of this thing, we have to be careful there because, again, we can only have one handler for one type of action. Not execution type, but the event type. This event type. But that's probably okay. If we push character manager, if we push NPCs into character manager as well, but they all live in Go routines the same way characters do, maybe that's fine. And I guess the other thing we could do is we could have character manager check and say, hey, is this an active character or not? Or if something else manages NPCs, we could ask them both. That would be a little bit weird in the current setup. We'd have to do a switch somewhere on the event type, right? So like in handle event maybe. Where we determine the correct handler or something. That would kind of break this pattern. But, I mean, that's a problem for future us, right? I think what we're going to do is at this time, we're going to proceed with the idea that we need to pull the character reference out of the map. That seems like the safest bet, the most sane choice. And instead, we're going to fire off, and we don't have a type here yet for it. Maybe we should do, for the sake of kind of keeping this a little bit more tidy, let's do event structs in here. That way they all have a single place that they can live. Deleted one too many things. There we go. And then here, for now, we're going to call it notify. Or do we want to do, let's do character notify, just in case. That That way we can use this for multiple different notification types, and this needs to be exported. When we send currently, we need to mush these into one anyway. Hi to you too. This is actually in character right now. We've already done this. We can get rid of those, I think. Yeah. Okay. So over here, well, we need to get these condensed first. Or do we just need to... We send the leave message. And then we fire off these others as well. Game manager, when we make our channel for notifications, that lives in the listen for events. It's actually in the new manager where we set up the subscription, subscriber channel, channel of broker messages, new channel, default buffer size is 10. Okay, yeah. So we have a little bit of buffer, so we should be able to do that just fine. We might need to increase that, we'll see. But as these are Go routines that pick them up, it should be fine. In theory. We'll performance tune it if we run into issues. So instead of calling these, we just need to build a notification method here. And this is the reason why we put everything into the individual methods, because they know they are the ones that build the string that makes sense. This just sends the rooms message along. So, and then notify other exit takes a character. How do I want to set this up? It'll come in through here. We could do... Instead of one move event... Yes, okay, here we go. So instead of a move, we should say, well, hang on, can we do, if we do character enter, we do character leave. And we only work with IDs. Character manager picks both kinds of events up. I think that's fine. Okay, so instead of move event, we'll do oop, let's spell it correctly, just, you know, for future convenience. If we do character enter, character exit, then we can make intelligent decisions about this. Oh, I already had a character exit. What? Don't remember adding that. Okay. And then oh, we do need move still. Because this is async. But the move event, this is what the map needs to handle. Crap. I just shot myself in the foot there with the refactor. That's okay. We'll roll this back. We'll roll this back. Put this back in. Put this back in. And then we'll put this back. And then this, we still need this. Which is move event. And we still need... just do this. That, and then game manager will have been... no, because this registers them. Okay, I think that's all we got to do. Now, something else is going to use... man parser. Yep. This whole file. Roll you back. Totally screwed that up. That's okay. Let's make sure that we've put everything back. Game manager test. uses that. So we'll put you back. I forgot to start the database. That's going to be a problem for all the other bits and pieces that use it for test. There you go. That should help. Okay. We're back on track. Mistake fixed. Okay, so we still need the move event for the map. But we'll put it down here. That way we can fire these off into the message, the events. Like so. Okay. And then our event struct. Because we passed the whole event in, we don't need to worry about this. We can just use notify. Do we want to do another field? No, because we're going to switch. We're just going to send out the notification if that notification, if the ID of the character that we have to resolve anyway, if that happens to be you, then the state machine should take care of that. That says, oh, hey, this is me. I run this. I build this string. Otherwise, it builds the other string. I enter or you find yourself at or whatever instead of so-and-so enters. Okay, so we can get away with just that, I think. And I wonder if there's a better way to template that. There probably is. Probably using Go templates, actually. Which we have a little bit of support for in the map descriptions already. There's no support in the editor yet for that, but that's okay. We'll kind of kick that can down the road too. Just thoughts that occur, right? Okay, so now, Mr. Map. When we move, that's all still well and good, except for this needs to be actually, let's do this. We've done a couple changes here. We've changed state by adding look. That's fine. Change character by cleaning up those. That's fine. This week we're going to put this off just a little bit. Let's just do a quick commit here. Prepare to pull character notifications out from direct calls and into async events. Okay. This way, if we wind up making a mess of the map refactor, it'll be easier to get back. That can stay the way it is for now. Tile is what needs to be occupants is a list now of UUIDs. Make the map like so. Okay. Slices index, occupant, right. This needs to be character ID. And then this is now a UUID. Like so. That fixes that. We need to here create. Close some of this down real quick. We want to create a convenience. We do. Oh, hey, Zed. How's it going? 51. Holy cow. How is all of the everything? We're here to see some mud. Well, we're certainly working on it. Hey, Mark, how's it going? That's super rad. What were you working on? Were you still working on your auto-reflecting admin thing? Oh my gosh, thanks for the follow. Appreciate that. Let me see if I can remember how to do this. I'm trying to remember. No, I don't know how to. I don't remember how to do that. But yeah, stream went well. I got it to mostly work. All the CRUD ops are there. Just need pagination. Awesome, fantastic. I think I had a couple people in here before your raid. So for those couple people, if you haven't been over to Zed's stream, somebody else raided in, told us about him a while ago. Yes, that's the one. Thank you. I was doing an exclamation point. That one. And he runs a super chill Cody Crunchy stream too. So check him out sometime. But yeah, we're working on over here getting an event system going so that the main game loop can kind of corral the synchronous actions and route the async actions to avoid circular imports, which Go doesn't allow. Yeah, okay, so we were going to make a convenience for this. It's going to return a character notify. You haven't heard of cottage cheese databases? Heard? Nice. This will take target and data, which is still just going to be an interface because we want to be able to use this for any kind of data you're trying to notify this target of. And then we can do, if I type the correct words, it'll work better. So instead of directly notifying the character ID here, this character ID, this is the leave message. And then we need to fire this off into Game Manager, which I don't think we have a message bus yet in map. believe we have one in Character Manager. Yeah, we have a message broker here. And we do dispatching comes from command parser? No. Maybe. Where did I set that up? Turn that, parse it. We would need to it was in client, right? Because client triggers the parser. So client handler does that, and then we fire off. I think we're already set up for this for async events in here. Handle authenticated, handle client message up here. Yeah, okay, we got look event kind of scaffolded in, but we need to do this other stuff first. And then because the client also gets a message broker, we dispatch the message. Okay, so the tile, does the tile know about its parent map? It does. It knows what map it lives in. Map, for now we only have one map. But we're eventually going to need many maps. But for now, I think we can just put a message broker in here and do the same thing. Because we just call dispatch message. We just build it. And the type doesn't really matter here, but that's fine. So, parent map will need broker, which can actually live in the config I think we build in main currently. Just double check here. Load map takes the config. Yes, okay. So if our config has a broker as well, that way the parent can pass it down in mutex. Actually, we need to do a check here. If this is not nil. Actually, if it is nil, what we're going to do. I don't think this actually needs to be that. Can it be just error? Error's new. We don't need to format this. It's just invalid. Or must provide a message broker to map. Otherwise, we put you into the map and then tile. This is because we need to fix that up. We'll do that in a minute. So down here, we're just going to grab our new notify. We're just going to steal this. Updates. New notify. And then message broker, dispatch message. This is a broadcast, I think is how I set that up. Oh my gosh. And then new message. That was the topic. That's the message type. Oh, broadcast topic. That's what I did. I think, let's make sure. Yes, broadcast. Because the only thing listening on this message bus in the server is the game manager currently. And we're kind of trying to keep it that way, unless we have a really compelling reason not to. So that's the exit. Except for... we don't have the type in here. Our events... to notify. Right, we need to put you inside of an event. So we would need to also know... let's make this... let's make this new character notify event. And it also takes an event type, which is an event type. Hey, thanks for the follow. I appreciate that. And what we're going to return... we had new event set up here, which I guess we could still do. New event, event type, and this. And this needs to return that. Or am I confusing myself? It's entirely possible. This would be character exit. Broadcast that, then we don't need that. This sucks to read. So we're going to pull this up. And then we actually don't need this at all. Ooh, we do. Oh. So we need to know who's leaving, but we also need to know who's the target of the event. Because the game manager doesn't know who's in what room. Nor should it really. Or not the game manager, the character manager. Nor should it really. So this needs to be the target ID, as in who gets the notification. Or do I give character's eventually going to need to know what room it's in, but that's just coordinates, right? So that's still separated nicely. Do I make character manager figure out who's in that room? No, because that'll be slow, because character manager will have to go through everybody logged in. So instead of target ID, this is actually the character that's doing the action, or the topic. If I called it a topic ID, I don't think I like that name either. Listener IDs. If I did this, then this would also need the topic ID instead, and then target IDs. And then you get listener IDs. I should rename that. Just for readability's sake. And then if we do this at this step, this goes away completely. We've already removed you. Do we want to do this before we remove you or after? Character notify, topic ID, listener IDs. It doesn't really matter. We need to handle the case where we're notified of something that happens to us anyway, just to be sure. Otherwise, it's too easy to make the mistake, right? But if we do this, then we only have to dispatch one message. Character manager does the heavy lifting of figuring out who's online in the year that needs to be notified. Which, I mean, should be all of them, but that tidies that up a lot. This also becomes a UUID, car ID, and then we need to new character notify event, character enter, and we're doing this before we actually put you in there, but that's fine. This is char ID as well. This is occupants. Enter message from the tile. All of these happen. Oh, we do have a location and character. Do we? Character open. For some reason I was thinking we don't. We're just not using it anywhere. Okay, yeah, we do have a location already. We're just not using it anywhere. That's okay. Character becomes responsible for telling itself where we are. That being the case, we should also put a location in here, which is a coordinates.point. Um, I guess that does make sense for a notification to come with a location. I think I'm okay with that. And then this becomes for the message, the tiles location. This is also, I don't know why I use that. Tiles location. Wait, where did I... I guess we could put you in data as well, instead of having more parameters. But then we need to put... We need a new type in this package so that we don't have circular imports if we do that. Do I want to do that? I could do something like this. If I was to do that, we could still use this helper. We just rename it a little bit. We really want this to be very, very generic though, because character notify needs to, anything that happens in a room that you are theoretically aware of should come with the ability to correctly act on it without a ton of switching, right? So, like if you drop something in a room, for instance, and the whole room is able to know about it, this same machinery should help us. Character notify would let us do that. And I think location is fine. Interface is fine. That leaves us open for future changes a little bit. So like in the case of an item, we have no item type yet, but we will eventually. The topic ID could then be the item, right? Um, Listener IDs would just be everybody in the room. Location is still a thing. I don't know if it's a thing though. I don't think that makes sense in this struct. Data does for sure. How do I want to tell the character though that their location has changed? Um, what do we have in the transit? ID, destination, description, inner leave. Well, we don't really want to import it anyway, so the location is fine because character exit, character enter. Location is fine because that lives in the coordinates package, which is why, it gets used all over the place, which is why it's its own package. Character notify is still fine. I'd really like to only send the one message, but if we put this inside of character notify, then we leave ourselves open for more information to come with it, right? And then instead of this, new character notify event, oh, you know what? The notify other exits. Notify self. This transit leave message. Yeah, okay, yeah. They all use the same message. So we can still use the same. So our leave